Yes, welcome into IATD TV, and today, on this lovely Sunday evening, I thought I'd bring you my October 2020 format version of my Fossil Adamancipator deck. So, without any further delay, we will crack right into the profile. We'll set the extra deck aside for now, and crack into our main deck profile. So we start with 3 copies of Researcher, best card in the deck, best Adamancipator card, so we definitely want to max out on those at 3. 3 Seeker as well, because it's just as good an extender, but it's not quite as good as an initial plays. But an Adamancipator Analyzer as well at 3 copies. Better going second, but it's still a very handy card when we go first. And being level 4 just helps us go into those level 8 synchros just that little bit easier. So cracking into the main deck monsters, 3 copies of Weathering Soldier. Great target to send off Miracle Rupture, Foolish Burial. Anytime we can get it in the graveyard, we can get that Fossil Fusion or a Time Stream, anything we need to our hand. 2 copies of Kawaki Meiru Supplier. It's a great extender, gets us another free monster on the board, and also, again, being level 4, it's great for those synchro plays. 3 copies of Century Soldier of Stone. I love this card in this deck. If we have it alongside Doki Doki, we can summon the Doki Doki, discard a Sentry, special summon a Sentry from deck, and 1 from graveyard. So that 1 normal summon can turn into 3 monsters on board. 2 copies of Gorgonic Gargoyle. It's a nice little normal summon. It's a level 3, so it's good for making a Churia Beast later on. It's good if we hit it off an Excavation, and it's also not too bad if we open it. The aforementioned Doki Doki, 2 copies of that bad boy. 1 Nemesis Keystone. It's good recursion, also gets us another monster on board and can get some of our banished Fossil Fusion materials back in the deck. 1 copy of Pot of the Forbidden. It's a good target for Gallant Granite. Now we have no Block Dragon. How do we make it? Parallel Exceed is going to be our easiest route, so we have 2 copies of that. I don't like 3, because if you draw it after you've activated the effect of Parallel Exceed, it's kind of a wasted draw. Now we cut down on the spells and traps and went on a bit more of a monster heavy lineup on this one, just to ensure that the Adamancipators do their work. So we went from 3 to 2 in the Fossil Fusion department, because we still play Anaconda, so getting to it's not the biggest deal. 3 to 2 in Time Streams as well. You don't want to run just 1, because you want to be able to go from the lowest to the highest stars in 1 turn, or at least be able to have the opportunity to make another Time Stream play. 3 copies of Miracle Rupture. Couldn't leave anything other than 3 in the deck because it's Foolish Burial. It sends from deck, and if we've got Fossil Fusion engrave, we also get to plus, or at least go card neutral. Foolish Burial. Again, we're playing Miracle Rupture, so Foolish Burial just to give us the option for anything from deck to grave. It's legal, so I'm playing it at 1 no matter what. Harpy's Feather Duster. Nice little bit of spell and trap hate in there. Then for the trap lineup, 2 copies of Judgment, we went down from 3. 2 copies of Strike, we went down from 3. And 2 copies of Rebirth of Parshath, again we went down from 3. We just trimmed down the spell and trap lineup just to make sure that when we're excavating off the Adamancipators, we're always going to make sure we hit, or at least more often than not. It did turn out to be a little bit inconsistent in its previous build, but just trimming down those few magic and trap cards just seems to make all the difference. So that was the main deck. Moving on into our extra deck, which has seen a few changes since the last iteration of the deck. So our fossil monsters, we have 1 Skull Gar, adds a Fossil Fusion when it's in grave. 1 Skull Bone, adds a Time Stream. 1 Skull Knight, which is the one everybody wants to play with Dogmatica because it pops. Skull King, which is your, at the cost of a discard, DD Crow on your opponent's turn. Skull Geos, which if you make him with Fossil Fusion makes him untargetable, and his attack and defense modulation makes him pretty hard to get over in battle as well. So he's worth having in there just at 1 copy, because some decks just really can't deal with a monster that can't be targeted with 3500 attack. Moving into the synchros, we've got 3 level 8, so we have Cyframe Lord Omega to rip a card out of our opponent's hand. Borreload Savage Dragon for that Omni Negate, fantastic. Avenging Knight Parshath, merely in there for the rebirth of Parshath, but if we really want to make it be in level 8, we can do so. Naturia Beast is one that we get into very often in this deck, being a level 5, having lots of level 3s, and all the Adamancipators being 2s, so beautiful piece of spell negation there. Our XCs are 1 Gallon Granite in that lovely prismatic secret rare foiling. And our link monsters, IP Masquerena, Cross Sheep, because you just generate so much advantage. We play pretty much all the extra deck monsters in this deck, so having Cross Sheep to get us special summons off fusions, attack boosts for the synchros, it's all gold. 1 copy of Predaplant Verte Anaconda, because, well, obviously, you're just going to send that Fossil Fusion. The last thing you do, if you can put up a Skull King just to get that extra disruption on their turn, absolutely fantastic. We're playing synchros, so you would be expecting to see a Crystron Halki Fibrax there somewhere, and here it is. Absolutely fantastic card for the deck. Really helps it function, and getting that extra body on board for synchro plays, oh, just beautiful. And then we wrap it up with 1 copy of Mech Knight Crusadia Avramax. Again, if we need to, we can make IP Masquerena, have a Cross Sheep or an Anaconda, and then go into Avramax on their turn. Absolutely fantastic. And Avramax, again, much like Skull Geos, some decks just have a real hard time dealing with an Avramax. So having one at your disposal isn't a bad way to go. Then we'll talk about the side deck for a little bit, because now locals have started up again. Some side deck play can start to happen. So with this side deck particularly, I'm building it with my locals in mind. There's a lot of Mystic Mine running around. A little bit of ABC. Very good ABC player in my local, so I've got a side deck a little bit of hate for that. But generally I'm going after Mystic Mine, because personally I don't want to lose to Mystic Mine if I can avoid it. So 1 copy of Paleozoic Dynamiscus, 2 copies of Heavy Storm Duster, 1 copy of Twister, 1 copy of Twin Twisters, 3 MST. You might ask why the 1 Twin Twister, 1 Twister, and 3 MST. Just personal preference here, right? I know Twin Twisters is generally considered to be the better card, and I would agree that it is, but personal preference for me is MST. 3 System Down, just for the ABC hate. And generally, if we're going to have to go down this route, we're going to have to take the Fossil Engine out of the deck, so we'll take out most of the Fossil cards, except things like Weathering Soldier. We'll cut down on the Solemns, and then put the Spell and Trap hate in there. Of course, we'll take the extra deck monsters out accordingly. So we have a Topologic Trisbania, Borreload Dragon, Boral Sword Dragon, and Sayuja Skulldread. 3 Great Link 4s and a Perfect Link 3 as well, just to do some extra deck plays if we have to take the Fossil Engine out, just to make sure we don't lose to Mystic Mine. So that about wraps up the deck profile for the October 2020 format. I'll keep you updated with future iterations of this deck and how it evolves and develops over the coming weeks and matches to come. Let me know down in the comments what you thought. If you like what you saw, give it a like, a comment, a subscribe, and share with your friends. And without any further ado, this is IATD TV signing off. Peace out.